Buckets. Hello and welcome into episode 69 of Two Man Game with Damon and Dom. I'm Damon, that's Dom, and you are the listener. Before we get into it today, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, leave 5 stars, and with either platform, share it to everyone in every way that you know how. Episode 69, we are coming off of All-Star Weekend, so we are going to touch on that. Real basketball kicked back off tonight. So that's or tomorrow? Is it tomorrow?
I think tomorrow because
You might be right.
I've been illin for some real
Yeah, you might.
basketball. So
I know
yeah,
I read a thing that said basketball starts tomorrow, and I thought I read it yesterday, but maybe I read it today. Um,
yeah,
I,
nothing today. It's
I did
tomorrow.
wake up at 7 a.m., which is way earlier than I'm used to waking up.
Wow,
So
are you
maybe I just
okay?
thought that that was yesterday when I read it like this
Yeah,
morning or something.
me every
Um,
day I wake up.
right. Well, when the listeners listen to this, it'll be the day of because this will be released tomorrow. It's Tuesday,
Yes, it sure
February
will.
18th. Dom, how are you on this lovely Tuesday?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I can't believe we made it to 69. That's great. I just next week's gonna be 70.
Nice.
That's crazy, right? So many episodes, and I honestly was looking forward to this. I very much look forward to talking to you about basketball, and I'm doing all right. We had a party this weekend for my birthday, though it was last weekend. Yesterday was Michael Jordan's birthday. Shout out! I know he listens. MJ, this is for you. And yeah, no, I'm excited. Lakers Hornets tomorrow is the first game
Mm,
after All-Star break. So I am excited to watch the Lakers and not the Hornets.
the Mark
Oh, it's
Williams
gonna. Oh,
revenge game.
I was literally about to say that Mark Williams revenge game. So yeah, we will see how
We'll
that
get to
goes.
that. We haven't talked
We'll
about
get to
that on
that.
this
We'll get
pod,
to
yeah.
that. But yeah. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well. This weekend, what did I do? We had Blood on the Clock Tower, which was fun. Listener of the pod, Jared, helped run that ordeal with another coworker of ours, Xavier. It's like you liked the post on Instagram.
I don't know. I'm assuming it's a board game, but just
It's
saying
not a board game.
blood.
It's like Mafia-esque is the thing I think you would know that's most similar to it.
Okay,
Um,
I
Werewolf, I
understand
think, is
now.
another similar one.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah, it's kind of like a social deception kind of game, I guess.
Ooh, ooh.
But that was fun. There was like 12, 13, 14 people there, so that was a
Yeah.
pretty cool event. And then that's pretty much like all I did worthy of note this weekend. Um, but here we are.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to shout out. I am wearing my Slovenia jersey, Doncic 77. I bought once the Lakers traded for him, although it is a strange fit. I will get it working out just right though.
Oh yeah, you gotta work out for the jersey. You know,
I'm gonna
get in
go
the
hoop in it. Yeah,
peak shape.
my body's gonna melt my
No
mold into
undershirt
the.
either.
Absolutely not. Just not for the pod. I cannot just be showing off my pits like that on the pod. I did it once, and the whole time I was like, when I wore my Reggie Jackson jersey on the pod, I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
could have worn
You're looking at
something.
yourself in the camera like,
The whole time I was like,
I see
geez,
you.
this man.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah, but no, it feels also weird because we're about to talk about basketball, but it's been like a week since basketball's happened.
Yes, but
But
we
just
have a lot of
because
other basketball related things to delve into.
I was just about to say that. Even though a lot of basketball didn't happen, we have a lot of basketball related stuff to dive into. And there we go. That's our segue. We're going to talk about someone everyone on the podcast knows, every listener knows. His name's Jared Butler. The 76ers converted him to a 2-year contract. He joined to them via trade.
Yeah. What trade? I don't remember.
I don't remember either, that's for sure.
But I think he was on a two-way, and now he's on a contract, like an actual contract. In like 3 games, I think he had played for them. They were like, "Yep, this guy's good enough.
Congrats
Sign
to
him up."
Jared Butler. That the name does sound familiar. I'm pretty sure I caught some of his minutes, so good for
Yeah.
him.
Another
Congrats.
contract conversion. The Hornets converted Musa Diabate to a 3-year contract.
Everyone knows
Uh,
him.
we actually talked about him not that long ago because we were
I
talking
know, I
about
remember.
centers
Yeah.
on the Hornets. We were like, you said his name, and I was like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. because I did. Why was I watching Hornets basketball? I hate myself. I don't know.
Oh,
But I did see that, and he seemed pretty good young
good enough
center.
for a standard 3-year contract.
Yeah, and in the same vein, also the Hornets signed Wendell Moore to a two-way deal, and I don't know who that is.
I know he was on the Pistons. I know he was on the Timberwolves.
Oh,
Um, that's about
welcome to
all I know.
Charlotte.
Welcome to Charlotte, where your career will end.
This next guy I definitely know. Now
This
I know
next
this
guy we
guy.
know. The Blazers signed the last episode legend, City Sissoko, whose name we mentioned 5 times. He got waived. So we mentioned he got traded, waived, or something like that last
Yeah,
pod. Now he's picked back up on the young up and coming Blazers, who went
cool.
like 7 of 8, 8 of 9, something like that, going into All-Star break. They were on a hot
Yeah,
streak. So
absolutely. I'm super excited to see what they do post,
probably come back to earth.
All-Star. Yeah, no, I wonder if they'll try to fight for a play-in spot. I mean, the West is weird. We'll get into that a little bit later, for sure. But in other news, Lakers news, the Wizards waived Alex Len after the Valanciunas trade,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was going to sign with the Pacers, but then he instead signed with the Lakers. Let's go. And I read a
Because a
little thing
certain
of,
deal fell through that we'll get to.
oh, is that why? Because I was reading that he had an opportunity to sign, but then the Lakers called and he said it's a better opportunity for me.
But I think the
So
Lakers
I'm gonna
called
go.
because
Oh, yes, 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 yes. You're exactly right. Well, now we have Alex Len, who is a, if no one knows who he is, he's a center, kind of like a Valanciunas, but not as good.
yeah.
Bruiser type guy, getting rebounds, just a big body down low. Which I actually think he's pretty good for what he is. I don't think he's a bad center by any means, and definitely not a starting center. Um, but I guess Jackson Hayes is our starting center. Not a good starting center either. But at least we have a backup. And we also did we put this in here? We waived Christian Wood, or that
Wave
was
Christian
last.
Wood. Yeah, I remember you sent me that. I didn't
Yeah,
think I
I
put that
don't.
in there. That's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
well, we waived Christian Wood. Yeah, he hasn't
Rockets
played. It
legend.
feels like I know Mavericks legend. He just hasn't played. Feels like he hasn't played in forever.
Pistons
So
legend.
he was on
And
one more team, wasn't he?
he was. He sure was.
Oh my God, who was it? Because I was doing the called game and was like, he was on this team. I don't remember.
Who's the
It's some
Bucks?
random team.
Who's on the Bucks?
Yeah. How is he on the? That makes no sense to me.
He was on like 3 teams before he was a real player. He might have been on the 76ers too, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I only know remembered him after the Pistons, and then Rockets is
Yeah.
really when I clocked him. Anyways, we got Alex Len now, and he played actually last week, and I'll talk about that. We talk about the Lakers.
All right. Um,
I was like, and back to you.
76ers signed Lonnie Walker to a 2-year, $3.7 million deal. He's back, baby. He's back in the league after the Celtics waived him pretty quickly to start the season.
I know, but not to the Lakers. Come on. I guess we have too many roster spots. And
Well, it's a
anyways,
little more than the minimum, and you guys probably don't have that much salary to just
wow,
dole
man,
out.
you're gonna call out my team like that? It's true though.
Yeah.
You are true. We are stroking that second apron. I'll tell you that much. The Sacramento Kings signed Markel Fultz, who's been a free agent all season, and I saw that today. Yeah, so very interesting. I mean, he wasn't bad on the Magic, but I know they waived him, and
I don't think
or
they
no, he
waived
just
him. I
was a
think his
free agent.
contract
Yeah.
just expired, and then no one ever signed him. It was kind of
He was
wild.
like, "Hi, hello, Markel
Strange.
here." But do the Kings need another guard? I guess that's my question as a backup.
Well, they traded. This is after they traded De'Aaron Fox, so
No, I know, but I mean, they got Malik Monk, they got Keon Ellis.
Markel's more of a point though. Those guys are like shooting guards.
I guess that's a good point. Well, we'll see if he starts or not starts, but
He
comes
probably
off the
won't
bench.
start. Um, yeah, he'll
Yeah, we
probably
do.
get some eighth,
Yeah.
ninth man minutes, maybe.
Well, we shall see. We'll keep the listeners updated.
We'll keep tabs on Markel Fultz, former number one overall pick by the 76ers. Just like Ben Simmons, who did end up getting bought out by the Nets, and he signed to the Clippers. So he'll be suiting up for them starting tomorrow, I guess. So, what do
He
you
already
think?
played a game.
All right, never
Yeah.
mind.
I'm actually seeing the Clippers March 5th against the Pistons.
You get to see Ben
So
Simmons. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good. I'm more excited to see Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. I'll be like, Jalen, yo, remember me from Vegas, dude? Be like, dude, that was like 15 years ago. What?
That was like 2 years
Um,
ago, and you had no interaction with them. So how would he
no,
remember
I
you?
know, but he saw me. Remember me in the crowd when I said, "Yo, what's the word, y'all?" Um, no, I am excited though to go to that game. I'm gonna go with some friends. I'm gonna rep the Pistons. I got my Dennis Rodman shirt. My friend's gonna borrow my Reggie Jackson jersey, so
Jared is happy to
we'll be
hear this.
strapped. Shout out Jared. It's all for you. Brandon Ingram has agreed, so he was traded to the Raptors. And since being traded, he has agreed to a 3-year, $120 million extension with the Raptors. It's $40 million a year. And the deal is a player option in the last year of the contract, 2027, 2028. How do we feel about that?
That's a lot of money. Um, for a guy who I think ultimately on your championship roster, if you do expect to be that at some point in the near future, I think is, you know, best suited for like a tertiary role, like a third guy. Putting him alongside Scotty Barnes is interesting because it's two wings. Scotty Barnes, I guess, is more defensive oriented. Brandon Ingram is more offensive oriented. So maybe they can kind of work it out. But it's, one of those things where he's barely played for the team. So it's strange that they're like, yep, here's all this money for the next 3 years because they're kind of rebuilding. But that he would just leave in free agency otherwise. So I guess it's fine. And I don't think
Yeah.
they're not like a big free agent destination. They don't have to save their cap for, specific people.
I mean, plus you just got like a lot of young talent. Didn't you just pay Emmanuel quickly like 45 million a year, like a 5-year
No,
contract?
it's 175, I think. I think it's 35 a year.
It's still a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And then RJ is gonna come up soon-ish.
RJ RJ might be on a contract. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah. Well, they have like you said, they have these younger players already. It's not like they have to save the space, but yeah, you're gonna start rebuilding around a fine scorer, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's a little strange. He's like an 84 overall in 2K. It's like everyone it's like making a team of all 80 averages, you know what I mean? Scotty
Yeah.
Barnes is like maybe a 90. So it's a little interesting to me. But
Maybe they just hope to kind of raise his value over the next couple of years and ship him out in the last year of his contract.
it's actually not, it actually makes a lot of sense. I always forget about things like that, like those little details of contracts, why you would sign someone to a big contract. Like the Pacers did with Bruce Brown. I was like,
Mm.
oh, that's awesome for him. And it's like, oh no, they're just gonna try to use him to get like
Right.
someone else, which they did. Um, Anywho, so yeah, I mean, 40 million is a lot, but also I feel like that's gonna be almost the norm soon for like the caliber player of Brandon Ingram. And I also want to apologize for choking on, on some. Well, I was wrong tube,
Uh, uh,
wrong
uh,
tube.
no one even noticed.
Dude, it was. I
Then
was
you just
washing
said
my
something
face.
about it. No
Uh,
one watches the video when they listen to these.
I know, but it's so funny. You gotta watch. When you hear
Why
me
do we
like
do the video?
gag, dude,
Should
because I just want to look at
just
your
turn to an
face.
audio only platform?
No, I want to see your reaction. I want to see your face to everything I do and say. Anywho, talking about someone that says things and does things, Kevin Durant made history on Tuesday night. That's last Tuesday, not tonight. This is Tuesday night. When he became the eighth NBA player ever to reach 30,000 career points in the Phoenix Suns' 119-112 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies. And I thought it was pretty nice. The game ended. Ja Morant had the ball in his hand. He was just dribbling like outside the 3-point arc. The game ended. The buzzer sounded. Ja Morant, Kevin Durant go for a hug. Ja Morant just gives him the game ball. It was not
You have
like
to
a
hunt him
we
down in the
won, we
locker
have
room.
it. Yeah, no like throwing stuff. It was like, and asked about it later. It said the man reached 30,000. Like that's huge. So,
Yeah.
props to that. Unfortunately came at a during a loss, but congrats to Kevin Durant, eighth all time. That's well, eighth NBA player to reach 30,000 career points. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Still crazy. I mean, such a high number to
I could
reach.
do
So
it.
congrats. You will.
Okay.
In
Sign,
my lifetime, I've done 30,000
sign me
points.
to a 10-day right now.
Dude, I
Right.
would
Um,
in a
yeah, I
heartbeat.
saw an interview. Somebody was interviewing Kevin Durant as well. I think it was about his time, maybe at the Olympics this last summer or something like that. He was getting like teary-eyed about it and emotional. So the guy just likes to hoop. He's a hooper.
Yeah, we love to see it. That part you can respect as a
Yeah,
fan of
I can
basketball
respect the
for
hooper
sure.
and Kevin Durant.
For sure.
Um, you took two in a row, by the way. You took the Brandon Ingram one, so I guess I'll take two now.
What have I done? Well, I wanted you to get the second one for sure. You
Uh,
deserve it.
Hubie Brown, legend, old man, called his final NBA game 9 days ago, February 9th. Retired, 91 years old. Um, and I mean, you could tell if you listen to Hubie Brown call games that that guy was old as hell. He definitely sounded it, but he's been doing it longer than I've been alive. So shout out to a legend.
Shout out to a legend on my birthday, no less. Last game called. I remember last year, I think I was watching a game and I was listening to the commentating, and I remember texting you, like, who do they have behind this microphone? Because he sounds like he's about to die. That was Hubie Brown.
Yeah.
And it's not like he didn't have anything like, no, he had good things to say still. It was just so slow. And, I mean, at 91, I can't believe he didn't retire earlier, but I mean, congrats to him.
Love
That's
of the game.
amazing. And yeah, I mean, he was one of the, top talents, one of the top voices for sure of the NBA. So, congrats to Hubie Brown.
Congrats. Also congrats to dun Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez because arbitrators ruled in their favor, I believe 2-1 over Glenn Taylor in the majority ownership dispute going on with the Timberwolves that we've talked about what feels like the entire duration of our podcast. We have
Yeah,
mentioned
literally.
this. So yeah, they are getting the majority ownership of the team. Here is the statement they had afterwards. We are extremely pleased with today's decision. We look forward to working with the NBA to complete the approval process and close this transaction so that we can turn our attention to winning championships in Minnesota for our incredible fans and the Twin Cities community. So, pretty fine statement overall. Glenn Taylor, his response. Becky, I guess is probably his wife. Becky and I were disappointed in this 2-1 decision from the panel. We will review this decision thoroughly prior to making any further comment. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to Timberwolves and Lynx players, staff, and loyal fans for their support. So, also relatively okay.
Yeah.
To kind of backpedal a little bit on this, if you haven't listened to our previous podcast, Glenn Taylor is the previous owner of the Timberwolves. He agreed to sell his majority ownership shares to Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez. They started winning with Anthony Edwards and Cat and all them. And he was like, actually, I don't know. Actually, maybe I want to keep this. And they were like, "No, dude, you already signed the contract. Like, we already closed this deal." And then he kind of started doing this, like, being real petty about it, like not letting them sit courtside and like trying to dig up these kind of like character reasons and stuff to not sell them. It was a weird, kind of messy process. Um, so ultimately, it is probably better that the other two guys got it. Um, Especially because, like, I think Glenn Taylor's on this team for a long time. They didn't do anything forever.
Yeah.
Like they had KG, they had Cat, they had Kevin Love. It's not like he was out here like dipping into the luxury tax to make the teams competitive. They didn't make the playoffs similar to like the Kings for like 12 years or something like that. I know they didn't this like past year was the first time they won a playoff series since like 2004. So it's not like he, had been doing everything he could to make them a winning team. But now that they happen to be winning, he wanted to hold on, I guess, for his billions, like we've talked about
There's
before.
billions.
Glenn
Never
Taylor and his
forget.
billions.
I
Where are my
love you
billions?
more than I love you more than Glenn Taylor loves his billions.
Oh, that would be a great Valentine's Day shirt, card, whatever. Uh, so yeah, that's kind of the situation. He is, I guess, losing the team to those guys. Do you have any further comments or anything on that?
No, nothing further about, Glenn Taylor per se or even Mark Lowry or Alex Rodriguez. I just hope that now that this is done, instead of trading away, pieces that are, helping you
Instead of
contend for
trading away Cat so you
championships.
don't have to get in the luxury
Yeah,
tax or second
yeah,
apron or
it's
whatever.
like I hope now, since it's Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry, I hope they make the necessary adjustments to compete. Because next thing you know, like next few years, like Anthony Edwards has tasted a conference finals. You don't get back to that, he's gonna want out too. We're in player empowerment mode. He can do that. De'Aaron
Right.
Fox out of nowhere was like, I want to go to San Antonio, and he's in San Antonio, which makes like to me, if I was 12 years old, like back in the day, if someone told me that, I'd be like, that's not pop. Like that doesn't make any
How
sense
did this happen?
whatsoever. Exactly. So, that's all I hope. I just hope that they do what needs to be done to be able to compete, um, because they deserve it. I mean, I love their team. Obviously, I love Anthony Edwards, one of my favorite players to watch, and you know, I don't agree with a lot of the moves they've made. But now that there's leadership installed, let's see what you can do now. Let
Right.
this year ride out, see how next year goes. Because I don't know about this year, but that's the conversation for another time.
Yes, sir.
Talking about trades, since I brought it up, Marko Milicic left the Mavericks coaching staff due to the Luka trade. So Marko Milicic was an assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks, and he's also the first Slovenian to ever play in the NBA. So obviously not very happy about the Luka Doncic trade. Luka's also Slovenian, so they probably,
You couldn't tell by Dominiku's Slovenian Luka jersey.
I don't know if you could tell. No, it's just a random guy,
Uh,
Slovenian jersey. No, yeah, so it is interesting to see that. I don't know if he posted a statement or if he just left, and I mean, I can assume why. We can all assume
right.
why. It's not because he was happy about it, that's for sure.
Right.
Yep.
Um, you know what? People were happy is the well, I don't know if they're happy, but Luca donated about $500,000 via the Luka Doncic Foundation to LA wildfire recovery efforts. Basically, as soon as he landed there, before he even played a game. So that was very nice of him to do.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you
Thank you.
for helping my friends get homes again.
Yeah,
And also JJ
that,
Redick, your coach.
that's a way to make an impression for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how excited I mean, we already talked about it. I'm so hyped. Actually, I got brunch Sunday morning
Hmm.
and seated at like a booth, uh like in the same diner was someone wearing, they were giving out Luka Doncic shirts his first game.
Hmm.
And there was a guy wearing the shirt. I really want to
Hmm.
go over there and ask him like what was like the atmosphere like, and I didn't, but I should have.
You should have.
Next time I will. I'll find him.
Okay, he'll be wearing the shirt again.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, okay, so before we get into All-Star still and updates, let's do some injuries. This is some really important stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of happened in the last week. So Giannis did not play in the All-Star game due to a mild calf strain,
Hmm.
and he was replaced by Trey Young. So
One of your all-stars.
one of my All-Stars. So congrats Trey Young for being a injury replacement All-Star. It still matters,
Again,
you
I
know.
think. I think that like I feel like every all-star appearance he's ever had has been as an injury replacement.
Are you serious? I mean, there's a lot of good guards in the East, so it
Yeah.
is tough. But congrats to him. At least he got that. Seems like Giannis will be back soon, though. It's just a mild calf strain.
Yeah. Daniel Gafford sustained a grade 3 right MCL sprain and is going to be out for at least 6 weeks for the Mavs. So we already mentioned Derek Lively last time, going to be out until the playoffs. Now Gafford's going to be out for almost 6 weeks. And unfortunately, that's not the only big for the Mavs that's missing time.
It is unfortunate. Anthony Davis, recently traded to the Mavericks, is expected to miss multiple weeks to a month with an adductor strain. I don't know how to pronounce that right.
It's like in your groin.
Oh, interesting. Because I know he was having a like a stomach, some muscle. He was having like spasms there or something. Which is super. That sucks for the Mavericks, obviously. He had such a great debut. I was watching that debut.
He was killing us, the Rockets.
He,
He was
oh
murdering
yeah, I
us.
forgot it was the Rockets. Yeah, he
And he
did
got injured in this
so.
game in like the third quarter,
Yeah,
I think.
it was crazy, and
But
it
man,
didn't really seem like anything happened.
a
Yeah,
half of basketball, people were like, wait a minute, maybe Nico Harrison is cooking with this trade.
yeah.
And
Well, and then they're like, oh wait, his physical. Maybe they should have checked him out better. But because of his injury, he could not play in the All-Star game, and instead he was replaced by his current teammate, Kyrie Irving, one of your All-Stars.
yes, sir. We both got a little representation in there. I like both of these were bigs replaced by guards. That's not really how it typically works, but sure. They're just like, yeah, throw
Well,
somebody in there.
yeah, well, I'm glad that they just did it almost like a who's next best type,
Yeah,
not like oh you have to replace it with someone like
right.
that's how you would get someone random
Due to
in
the
there
Eastern
like
forward, we were struggling with the Eastern forward, so that would have
yeah
been tough.
like a Bam out of bio I guess it's just who knows yeah. Anyways, some more injury news.
More injury news. This one pertains to your team, but it's my turn, so get over it. Mark Williams failed his physical due to quote multiple issues. So, his trade to the Lakers was rescinded. Mark Williams back to Charlotte, and Dalton Knecht. Who else was in that trade? I don't remember. There's
Oh
another guy
my
that was in the
God.
trade, wasn't there? Cam Reddish in
Cam
that trade.
Reddish. It was Cam
Yeah,
Reddish, Dalton Connect, and like
a first round
a
pick,
second round and a
a
first
pick
round.
swap, all that back to the Lakers. So, since that has happened, there's been a couple of like funny things. We sent each other this text. Mark Williams posting the yellow and purple heart emojis, and then it has been deleted since then. I've checked because I remember
Yeah.
originally we were like, "Oh, is he gonna delete it?" And it was still there. It's gone now. So he deleted the purple and yellow heart emojis. Dalton Connect looks pissed every time he's on the Lakers bench. Like he just looks like he does not want to be there. And I
Can I
understand
inter
your team just tried to trade you, so
can I
I get it.
interject real quick?
Yeah,
Just about Dalton Connect. Yeah, so actually the game after the trade happened, he did not play.
yeah,
And he could have, but he didn't, and there's speculation why he didn't. People are saying that maybe he told JJ Redick that he just didn't feel like mentally ready to be on a court again for a team that tried to trade him. But he did play the last game before the All-Star break. So sorry.
yeah.
Please
You're good.
continue. There's a lot more fun stuff to talk about this.
There's a lot. There's a lot. And then the Hornets after this big haul of which we both thought was kind of an overpay for Mark Williams, who hasn't been very healthy. They posted this post in all caps on Twitter, which is funny. Uh, we are excited to welcome Mark back to our Hornets organization. After the other team aggressively pursued Mark, we made the difficult decision to move him. We have always held great respect for Mark's talent, work ethic, and character. We are thrilled to see him rejoin our roster as a dynamic presence at the starting center position. His return strengthens our team, and we look forward to the impact he will make on and off the court. Okay?
First question. Why? It really is like a
They're like, I swear I didn't want to trade you.
yeah.
They really fucking wanted you, so we just had to.
We really wanted Dalton Connect in those we didn't even want Dalton Connect in those three picks. They made us take
They
it.
made us, I swear.
It's a little
So
ridiculous.
funny.
I think this is more of a something you kind of talk to him about, but just posting it so publicly is so funny to me. It is
Eh,
hilarious. Usually people they would like when the trade happens, they just say like thank you, you know,
Right.
and insert name, which they did. And then, if he's back, he's back. It's whatever. They just say, "Welcome back, Mark Williams." And they're
Yeah.
just like, "We're excited." It's the other team they aggressively pursued.
And then what's even funnier is that apparently they've been in talks with the NBA to try to dispute the check. So they're like, "We love having him back." NBA, why didn't the trade go through? What's
Yo,
going on
yo,
here?
Lakers need to take him.
What happened? Mark, hey, what's up? What's up? NBA,
Oh,
come on, he's supposed to be off our team. What are we doing?
it's like, what's this guy
Um,
still doing here? Oh,
so that's pretty good. Awkward for that to
one
happen.
of those
And
things.
one of those things too, where if this trade goes through on Tuesday, perhaps this physical fails, and then the Lakers are like, you know what? We actually want another thing, and then we'll pass it. But because it was done so close to the deadline, there was no adjustment. He failed his physical after the deadline already passed. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
Um,
so that resulted in us signing Alex Lynn, which we talked about earlier.
yeah,
So,
that's what we were
um,
hinting at.
yeah, thanks for sticking around, finding out what that hint was for. We appreciate you. But yeah, it was just such a funny
Funny
little
little
thing that's going
exchange.
on. And I mean, the NBA won't do anything.
No.
It's no, they can't. It's he didn't pass. That's it. It's done.
Multiple issues. Also, apparently not related to his back, which is the thing that's kept him out for most of his NBA
What
career.
else could
So,
it be? Like, geez, what else
like
could
his
it be?
knees, his ankles, his
I
all
know.
of his limbs.
It's just crazy. We'll talk
Welcome
about the
back, Mark
Lakers.
Williams.
Welcome back. And your ankles and your
We'd
limbs
like to
and your
welcome Mark
back.
Williams and his back to our
It is
welcome
bad
back.
back. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
We talk about the Lakers, so let's talk about the Lakers.
Let's
Okay,
talk about
fine.
the little lake
Talk about
shows.
the Lake Show. So we should be 33 and 19, but we are 32 and 20, fifth in the West currently.
Hmm.
We are 8 and 2 in our last 10 games. We did
Hmm.
lose our very last game before the All-Star break to the Jazz in Utah. Seemed like the Jazz had something to prove. And also, no one could make a free throw. I don't know what was going on. I was listening to this game while I was driving home. It was just like everyone was missing free throws,
No
both
one can make
sides.
a gosh darn free throw.
It was pretty crazy. But yeah, let's talk about so Luca debuted against the Jazz on the 10th, February
Hmm.
10th, and they won six straight as of last week, and then they lost to the Jazz, like I said. So his debut, 24 minutes, 14 points, six rebounds, six assists. Yeah, I've memorized these stats because I keep seeing it everywhere. He looked pretty good. Obviously, like not perfect because he's been on this team like maybe a week at this point, and he was doing some drills, but by no means, are you doing a 5-on-5 like with other people, like or you're scrimmaging just with your new teammates. So, for a debut, it was good. I think Anthony Davis's debut was insane, but that's just because he can really plug into any system. He is going to defend and rebound, and he can defend all five positions essentially.
Max Christie has
Um,
looked pretty good over there too, by the way.
Max Christie is a very good NBA player. I was very sad to see him go. Almost not more sad than Anthony Davis, but like for the price, I was like, I wish we could have moved someone else than Max Christie. But the
Right.
Mavericks definitely deserve someone good.
Mm.
He's not injured in the trade, so. Um, but yeah, I mean, LeBron and Luca look like they can be a pretty dangerous duo once they kind of figure out each other's games, and they looked really comfortable even with the time I was on the court. Although it did look a little. I watched other teams with trades happen. Like I watched Zach LaVine on the Kings. I watched De'Aaron Fox on the Spurs, and some of that seemed kind of clunky. And I think it's just because of the fast pace of those teams. Lakers are a little bit slower, so it's a little bit easier for Luka to plug in. And I'm just excited to keep seeing him play, and it's excited to see him healthy. And they're going to up his minutes. I actually don't know how many minutes he played in the last game against the Jazz. I think he was still limited to about 25 to 30 minutes. And we also had some injuries too. So, last game before the All-Star break, people just they kind of phone it in, and we should have won, but it is what it is. Currently fifth in the West. We play the Hornets tomorrow. So that's the Lakers. And we got Alex Len, like I mentioned earlier. So now we have our center rotation is Jackson Hayes, Alex Len, and Christian Koloko, which is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. I think you're muted because I
I
can't hear
am.
you at all.
I am. Start running a LeBron at the five is what I said. Um, that's what,
They did that, and it was pretty good actually, if I remember. Actually, not the last game, not the game they lost against the Jazz, but the game they won. They did run LeBron at the five a little bit, and it's pretty good.
I knew it. Uh, let's talk about the team right above them in the standing. The Rockets, 34 and
Oh.
21, fourth in the West. So we've had a dip since last time we were second. We lost six straight. after we talked about them last. So we went on a tough run there, and I'm going to go over a couple of the losses specifically. We had a really bad loss against the Grizzlies at the end of a game. Um, Basically, Jalen Wells got a rebound and ran to the other end of the court, made a wide open dunk because nobody defended him, and then the ref said, "Wait, actually, the Grizzlies called timeout." And then Taylor Jenkins is like freaking out on the sideline. She's like, "No, I did not." Blah 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 blah. They eventually said they did call a timeout. I don't remember who, but they called timeout. So the basket didn't count for the Grizzlies. They scored again anyways, to go up by one, and then the Rockets had like a really bad like Fred VanVleet shot, I think. So we lost. And I was like, okay, that was bad. Oh yeah, they scored again because we fouled Jaren Jackson. He shot 2 free throws. They didn't even make a shot. So that's rough. Bad loss there. And then we lost to the Nets twice. Twice. One of them was really bad. We're up by four, I think, or five, with like 8 seconds left. The Nets hit a three. Brainless play. I think it was. I want to say it was Jalen Green. It was either Jalen Green or Jalen
Oh, he
Brooks.
inbounded like past.
Yes, he passed the ball just right past. I think it was Dylan Brooks or something like that.
It
And
was
then it
Dylan
just
Brooks past it past Jalen Green. Sorry, yeah.
and then it like D'Lo just picks it up at the top of the key. It just hits a wide open three. So then they go up by like one, and it was like okay. Then we lost because we had another bad shot. Um, so dumb. And then after those three terrible losses, the Knicks, we were up in the fourth. They outscored us by 17 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. And then, so four really bad losses in a row. And then the Wolves and Mavs just both kind of beat us. I already talked about Anthony Davis's debut. He was kicking our butts. So that's the 6 losses that we had in a row. Then we beat the Raptors by 7. Fine. Beat the Suns by 8 3 days after that, which was good. And then we played back to back. So we played the Raptors, waited 3 days, played the Suns, and then played it back to back somehow against the Warriors and lost that game. So yeah, we've been bumpy the last couple of days going into the All-Star break. Hopefully we can kind of reset over the break and come back. And that's the goal because we had a string of bad losses there. So
Have you looked at the future schedule? Does it seem pretty easy? Or I know they're playing the Timberwolves on Thursday, I think, or
I sure
Friday.
haven't. Let's see. Rockets, schedule. If I can type. Yeah, we play the
Schedule.
Timberwolves Friday, and we play a back to back, of course, against the Jazz. Um, and Bucks, Spurs, Kings, Thunder. Um,
Tough. That's
yeah,
tough.
it's a little tough. Then it gets easier. Pacers, Pelicans, Pelicans. Um,
Sorry.
so that's good.
Sorry.
Magic, Suns, Mavericks again. Uh, Yeah, down the stretch, I'm just looking at the rest of the season. It looks like it gets not super easy. We do have 3 more games against the Jazz, so that's nice. But
That's
there's a
good.
lot of tough teams in the West down the stretch, so we'll see how we do. Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, let's get into the main event, shall we?
Let's do it. All-Star break. Okay, so All-Star weekend, should I say? So it was in San Francisco this year. That was pretty cool because there was a lot of like, a lot of like featuring Steph Curry stuff going on because
Hmm.
he is a Golden State Warrior and has been his entire career. There was a canceled Steph Curry
Seth
versus
Curry.
versus Sabrina Ionescu, which happened last year. And the NBA said that we weren't able to land on a plan we thought would raise the bar off of last year's special moment. We all agreed not to proceed and will instead keep the focus on All-Star Sunday's new format. So yeah, last year they had a shootout. Steph Curry, Sabrina. I believe Steph won by like one shot, right?
Yeah, it was a good
Yeah, it
game.
was like super close. And it's just it feels a little gimmicky to me, but still cool. I understand they're trying to showcase the WNBA more, so I wouldn't be against it. It is just
Because they
like
couldn't
a
get Caitlyn to do it.
yeah, which we mentioned I think last time, so
Yeah.
makes sense.
Dumb. I would have liked to see it again. was fun last year. It's fun too because Sabrina's shooting from the NBA 3-point line, and so the WNBA 3-point line,
Oh
which I thought
yeah,
was
very
pretty cool.
cool.
But let's talk about some things that did happen,
Let's
like
do
the
it.
skills challenge, everyone's favorite All-Star event. Um, this was bad. This needs to go. We don't need the skills challenge. It's dumb as hell. I don't understand it. The four teams, I think there were two rookies, Alex Sarr, Zachary Richichet, the top two picks were a team. And then everyone else was like actual teammates. It was Chris Paul, Wembanyama on the Spurs. It was Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley in the Cavs, and then it was Draymond Green and Moses Moody on the Warriors. So I don't like how do they come up with these teams? I don't know. I feel like a couple of years ago there were three players on the team. Like I think the Cavs
Yeah,
did it, and it was like Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Donovan Mitchell or something like that. So
I think it was Karis LeVert.
Karis LeVert, sure. So like,
Yeah,
how do they decide who are the people in these? I don't know. I get the Warriors have to have them because they're the home team. That makes sense. Like
yeah.
they're the other three teams, no clue how they decided
So
on these people.
random.
Super random. But here's what happened, or the main things that happened. Chris Paul and Wemby got disqualified, which was kind of funny. They went first, and basically, what I imagined happened is Chris Paul whispered in Wemby's ear, and he said, "Look, we can worm our way out of it because the skills challenge, if you don't know, it's three bounce passes, and then like a long chest pass, and then a three-pointer from the wing that you get three shots at, a free throw which you get three shots at, and then a three-pointer from the corner which you get three shots at." Another long pass, and then a layup. That's the entire skills challenge, and you go through the whole court doing that. All they care about is time, so it doesn't actually matter if you actually do the things. Like you have to get a pass like in a little ball or like a little circle area. If you miss all three shots, you just keep going. Like you just keep walking. It doesn't actually matter that you made a shot. So Chris Paul gets up there, he does the passes, whatever, gets to the 3-point shot, just takes the ball and throws it, like kind of towards the audience, and then does the same thing with the other two. Does the same thing with the free throw, same thing with the other three. Wemby did the same thing. They finished in like 45 seconds. And then as the next group is going, the commentators are like, Chris Paul and Wemby are being disqualified. And then they also talk throughout the rest of like the first round, and they're like Chris Paul's over there arguing with them, like with them about it, which is like so Chris Paul. So that was kind of fun. That was entertaining that they tried to loophole the system and got
They
disqualified.
they should make the points count for something. If they
The
make it, you
points
should
should
like
matter.
lose.
They should
You could get
absolutely
10
matter.
seconds off or something, your time or something. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that would be the reasonable
Or just put more
evolution
than
of
three
that.
balls there. It's like shoot until you make it.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, that's actually a lot better. That's crazy.
so yeah, that was dumb. And then after that, I believe the rookies had a really slow time, so they went to like a final round. It was the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley versus Draymond, Moses Moody. Cavs had a pretty decent round, and then Moses Moody did super well. And it's kind of a relay, so he gives the ball to Draymond. Draymond missed the chest pass like 5 times in a row. Um, and they just lost. Like they had a definite chance to win because Moses Moody was so fast, but Draymond just missed the chest pass, and he kept throwing it, started running to the next thing, and then realized it missed, so he had to go back and like throw it, and then one of them he threw missed, and it hit the balls off of the rack for his 3-pointers. So he just like sabotaged himself so badly. So he sold. He
Dude.
sold. They had a good chance to win, and Draymond sold it, which is I thought was funny that Moses Moody did so well.
Dude, I'm gonna talk about Draymond Green later, but that's actually crazy. I didn't know that. I know the Cavs won, and I know CP3 and Wemby were disqualified. I did not know about that. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, it was funny.
Um, yes, 3-point contest is the next one. So this is what I always understood and I always liked. This one made sense to me. Compared to a lot of the other ones. And going in, I kind of wanted Norman Powell to win.
Yeah,
But actually, in actuality, so um, why am I forgetting his second name? Cade Cunningham,
yeah,
Cam
Johnson.
Johnson. I saw Cam Reddish, Cam Thomas. Like, who other Cam is there? Why was Cam Johnson? Anyways, Cam Johnson, Cade Cunningham. Why was Cade Cunningham? Cam Johnson, Cade Cunningham, and Norman Powell all had they weren't that good in the first round.
Yeah, they weren't even
Unfortunate, but
close.
only one of them to me makes sense to be there. The other two
Eh,
don't really. Anyways, Buddy Hield was on fire. He had 31 in the first round. Darius Garland had 24, and Tyler Hero had 19 to advance. So the best three go on to the next round.
Yeah,
Basically, you get, since you explained the skills challenge, I'll explain 3-point contest. So you get five balls on a rack, uh, two in the corner, two on the edge of the arc where it turns, and then one at the top. So you basically have 25 shots.
hmm.
And your last ball is the starry ball is what they called it because it's like
The last one on
sponsored
the
by
rack
Starry. Yeah,
is the money ball.
yeah, but
The
they
starry ball
called
is
it
the
this.
deep three. That's the deep three that one they added in between the top of the key and the wings. They have like a really deep three that
They
they shoot.
added. Oh, I
Yeah,
totally
it's like
missed
it's
that.
one ball by itself.
Got
And
it. Got it.
it's
Okay.
worth
Okay.
3 points because all the normals balls are worth one, the money
Right.
balls at the end of the rack are worth two, and then the
Two.
starry balls worth three.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, because I kept hearing. Okay,
But
got it.
also, in recent years, you pick one of the five racks, and the entire rack is money balls.
Really?
Yeah, so you pick like what do you think your best spot is, and that entire
Yeah,
rack's
like
money
this.
balls.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, so in the last round, Buddy healed. He struggled to start the second round, missing his first seven, but then he caught fire at the end, and he fell short by 1 point to Tyler Hero. So Tyler Hero was the 3-point contest winner.
Yeah,
So congrats to
he
Tyler
started
Hero.
off really bad, but he hit four of his five money balls in the last rack. If he hit 5 for 5, he would have won.
Yeah, I mean that'll do it. And I mean, crazy. Also very cool to see first time All Star. And he's also the winner of the 3-point contest. So congrats to him.
Yeah, Miami has something to root for. Um, but let's get into what was probably the best event of the weekend for me. I know you've always been a 3-point guy. I've always been a dunk contest guy. Now, it hasn't been great these last 10 years, really since the 2016 Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon showdown. But this year it was okay, I will say. The first round, Matas Buzelis, Andre Jackson Jr., they struggled. I actually don't think Matas made a dunk.
Really?
He was bad. If he made a dunk, it was like in the last 10 seconds after missing multiple times.
That's crazy. How do you just not just end up just dunking it? You know what I mean? At some point.
And
Anyways.
that's kind of what it felt like for Andre Jackson Jr. Like his dunks were very like two-hand rim grazer, like kind of barely dunking the ball. You kind of have to dunk it with some force. So
Hmm.
they were clearly ousted immediately. But in the finale, Stephon Castle and Mac McClung, back-to-back champion, now three-time champion because he took home the trophy again. But it was an awesome final round. There were definitely some cool dunks from both of them. Mac McClung did the Blake Griffin jump over the car, except when Blake did it back in like '09 or 2010 or whenever, he jumped over the hood. Mac jumped over the top, the center, the highest part of the car, um, with somebody sticking out of the sunroof to hand him the ball. And he grabbed the ball like that. That was pretty cool. He had a couple other cool dunks. Stephon Castle had a really neat dunk where somebody shot a ball like a layup, and the ball came through the net. He jumped from behind the goal, running from behind the goal, grabbed the ball as it came out of the net, like pretty low, and then put it under his legs and dunked it with one hand.
That's
Um,
sick.
that was a neat dunk. And then he had another dunk where he he like had his like he had it like tucked kind of and then put it behind his back and dunked it with his other arm, which was kind of neat. I'd have to go back and look at it, but he had a couple really good
Yeah.
dunks. He had a good dunk contest. Matas, I think, not Matas, sorry, Mac McClung needed 50 to win. He was like, I think Stefan had gotten like a 49 and a 50 basically, so Mac needed like back-to-back 50s to win. And the last dunk he did was pretty cool. He put Evan Mobley, who's like 7 feet tall, up on like a little platform that's probably 2 or 3 inches. So he's probably like 7'2", 7'3" in the air. Jumped over Evan Mobley, like cleared him. Um, Grabbed the ball because Evan Mobley had the ball like on the back of his head like this. Grabbed the ball, tapped the front of the rim, brought it back and then dunked it. And that was pretty cool. And they gave him a 50 and he won the dunk contest. So the first time
Yeah.
ever someone has three-peated in the dunk contest.
Well, I did like so the other one that Mac McClung had, there was a guy on a hoverboard circling,
Reminiscent of the Aaron Gordon dunk.
right, which I didn't know, so thank you for that.
Well,
Uh,
Aaron Gordon had the mascot going around and he jumped up, took it, put it under his legs and dunked it. It's a
are
nasty
you?
dunk.
Do you think he was? I don't think the mascot was spinning because I watched a lot of the clip. I don't think he was on a hoverboard. I think he was just
Um,
standing still.
I thought he was spinning. And the Aaron Gordon
Is
one,
it
you
the
mean?
one where yeah, and the Aaron Gordon when he like looks like he's like kind of sits over the mascot and then goes under the leg and up,
Yeah, I
right?
thought that was it. Or
Pretty
maybe it's
sure
a
he was
different
under
one.
them.
Maybe I know there's one where he grabbed it and like spins around with his hand on his head, dunks
I
it.
think it was that
Maybe
one.
that's
I
the one
think
where
it
he's
was that
spinning.
one. Yeah. Either way, yeah. But
Whatever.
yeah. So Matt McClung had one where there's a guy in front of the hoop, spinning on a hoverboard with the ball, and then there was a second guy with the ball near the rim, and he jumps over the guy at the hoverboard, dunks both balls at the same time, which I thought was
Hmm.
pretty interesting too. Instead of just one,
Very
you know.
creative.
Yeah. So congrats
Three
to
winning dunk contests. You gotta have a lot of dunks for that.
yeah. So Mac McClung, greatest dunker of all time.
Yeah, I think he's earned more from the dunk contest than his NBA contracts.
That is unfortunate, but probably the truth. Um, I didn't watch this, but the Rising Stars tournament.
Let
I
me
have a
tell you,
quick
the
question.
Rising Stars tournament better than the All-Star tournament.
Who is TMC?
Yeah. Um, TMC. So there's this old Warriors thing. I think it was called Run TMC, and it is Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullin, who was an old Warriors trio back in like the 90s. And
Yeah.
they were each coaches of the three Rising Stars teams.
Okay. Gotcha. So having the coaches, do you want to talk about it? I don't know anything about
Sure.
this.
I just thought it was cool that like they chose because it's in San Francisco, they chose like an old school Warriors trio to be each coaches of each of the teams. I just thought that was
Yeah,
interesting. Instead of like, all right, here's Team Snoop Dogg. I was like, oh, okay.
I get that. I like. Okay, I see. I didn't get that. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they had that, and then Jeremy Lin was coaching the G League, which threw me off. I was like, "What is happening? Why is Jeremy Lin coaching the G League?"
Was Jeremy
It's,
Lin ever a Warrior? Like,
I
does that
don't,
make any sense?
I don't think so. If he was, it was for a very short time.
Hmm.
Maybe he coaches in the G League. That could be the case. I don't know. I don't know anything about the G League. Um, yeah,
Gotcha. Do you want to talk about this tournament? Because I can just talk about the All-Star because I watched that live, so I
sure,
can like
sure.
dive in.
Yeah. So Mitch Richmond's team had both the Thompson twins, and they looked pretty awesome. But everyone else on the team didn't look great, and they lost to the G League team by a point. I think it was 40. Yeah, I think it was 40 to 39 on a wild three from Bryce McGowan. So it was 37 to 37, and Amin Thompson had a transition dunk basically. Then
Nice.
where so they were up 39-37, and then Bryce McGowan's had like a crazy like leaning three, like totally off balance, and it went in to give the G League team the win, which is crazy. And he played really well that game. So did Leonard Miller, who was on the Wolves. We watched him at Summer League as well in Vegas. They both looked like pretty good. So I was happy to see that, even though the Amon Thompson team lost. I guess I still get a victory because Reed Shepherd is technically on the G League team. He didn't really do
Yeah.
anything, but he is there. Um, and then, yeah, we talked about this guy last time a little bit. His name is Dink Pate. It is not Dink Pate. They said it on the broadcast, Dink Pate. So now you know.
So I was right
You're right.
this whole time.
Yeah. And then I don't know I don't know if these guys drafted these teams, like the All-Star teams, probably. I don't know how these teams were formed, but
Yeah.
Team T, Tim Hardaway Sr. had the infamous Black Dick duo, Grady Dick and Anthony Black from that jersey swap last year. And they got absolutely destroyed by Chris Mullin's team. This game was not close. Stephon Castle, Keontae George, Dalton Knecht, and Jalen Wells all played really well in this game. Stephon Castle especially. Keontae George hit the last shot was like a fading three. Um, Jalen Wells played really good defense. So they all had moments here and there. This was definitely the least close one though. And then they ended up playing the G League team for like the last spot, and they handled them pretty easily too. So Chris Mullin was the guy that made his team get all the way to the actual All-Star tournament, except then it turned into Candace Parker's team, not Chris Mullin's team, because it was like the other TNT crew people that had All-Star
Yeah.
teams. So they were like, "Here, Candace Parker, you get the Rising Stars one, I guess."
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Interesting. It
know.
seemed like Chris Mullin seemed did all the work.
Yeah, right.
But,
That's what I'm. Well, like
yeah.
it's the same players, but they were
No,
like,
yeah, I
"Chris
know, but
Mullin, you're not
yeah.
the coach anymore. You're out."
It's like, yeah, thanks for coaching us through all this. Oh, I guess see you never again, I
See you
guess.
never again.
Yeah. Uh, All-Star tournament. Okay, so this one I did watch. And I watched actually all of it. So,
Let's. You want to talk about the
before
timing?
yeah, no, I will. Before we get into the, actual tournament, like what happened, um and some players declared injuries basically the day of,
Yep.
and that would be LeBron James, who did not play at all. And
Dude,
also
he didn't even
Anthony
put the jersey
Edwards.
on for pictures.
I know.
Did you see
I
that?
know. Yeah, it was just there chilling in his street clothes.
It
Anthony
was
Edwards
also like
also
the
did not play.
seventh question they asked him in the press conference. Like they had already asked him a bunch of different questions, and then they're like, "Yeah, so like, are you excited?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not playing." I was like, "What? What?"
Anyways, interesting choice. Why not to play? I mean, I know whatever, ankle, foot discomfort. Okay.
If
Just
you
be
would
on
have
the
said that
bench.
before, they could have had somebody else as an all-star
I
player.
know.
And
I
because
know.
each of these teams was only 8 people. Now it's only 7 people.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's wild. But also, like, you're only playing to 40 points. But
Yeah.
anyways, it was interesting to say the least to watch. But what you mentioned earlier to talk about like the timing. So the All-Star game minutes, when you tallied it all together, how much basketball time was being played
And we're
was
talking about
30.
because this is just like the Rising Stars. There's 4 teams, 2 games, and then the 2 winners play each other. So 3 total games.
Yes, three total games, to 40. First team to 40 points, so no time limit. There was three timeouts
Was the
when you hit.
championship one also to 40?
Yep.
Okay.
There is three timeouts when you hit two timeouts for whenever the first team gets to 15, then 30, and then you play to 40. It was just like a timing thing, so there would be
Maybe
timeouts.
it's the Rising Stars tournament I'm thinking of to 25, the championship game.
Weird. That'd be short, but it was definitely 40 for the
Yeah.
championship one, the All-Star. But 33 minutes, 41 seconds. So that's how much game time in the All-Star game we got.
So this must have been like an hour program.
No, actually, you know what's crazy? It was actually a 3 hour program.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you do the math on that, that means there was about 2 hours and 26 minutes of commercials and breaks.
and let's not forget all the performances.
Of course, Sawiti. Um, that's the only person I know whose name.
D'Angelo Ball. Come on.
Was that during the All-Star game?
I feel like it had to be, right?
I watched it. I did not see. I think that was
Kevin
before. I
Hart,
think
like 8 times.
no. I'm not talking. No. Kevin Hart was terrible. Kevin Hart sucked. He actually sucked. He was
I know
not
they
funny
had
at
like a
all.
mini inside the NBA little tribute thing.
Yeah, they had that at the. It was so strange. It was during the championship game and after the first time out. So it was like 15 to like 4. It was the. I'll talk about the games in a second, but
Yeah.
they after the first time out, they had like a 8 minute like pause to be like, all right, like thank you, Ernie, Kenny the Jet Smith, Chuck, Shaq for all you do. Here's like, haha, here's like some fishing gear. You're gonna go fishing now. You're retired. Ha ha ha. Like, but it was in the middle of the game. You couldn't do it before the game started.
Right.
The timing of it was super strange. But let's talk about the game. So, first game was Kenny's team versus Chuck's team. Kenny's team is the young team. and that was the one that had,
with four first-time All-Stars.
four first-time All-Stars. Chuck's team had
It's
like
what
the
did he call it?
Rising,
Kenny's upcoming stars or something like that.
something like that. It was Shaq's OGs, and it
Sacks
was Chuck
OGs, Chuck's global stars. I remember that.
Global, right, right, because it was
He
like
had like Jokic
Giannis
and
and
Wemby.
Jokic
Yeah.
and when, yeah, exactly. So that game was kind of close, but the Global Stars took it pretty easily.
Hmm.
Like, and there was defense being played. Like the whole, oh my God, the whole broadcast, all they talked about was like, oh, looks like they're actually, they're actually trying, which is good. Like, oh, yeah, that's been the issue with the last couple years. They're trying. Oh, look, there's a block. I've seen more blocks in this game than the last three All-Stars combined. It's like all they talked about. I was like, oh my God, like we get it. Just tell us what's happening in the game.
Right.
Um, it seemed pretty stale. And also they got to 40 really quickly.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed a lot about all of these three games I
And a lot
watched.
of
It
teams
got to
score 40
40
in a quarter. So,
exactly. So that was whatever. It was fine. The second game, the Chris Mullins team or Candace Parker's team against Shaq's OGs, that one actually got down to the wire.
dude, the Rising
And
Stars wanted it. They wanted it. I was all for it.
I I was really I wasn't like really dialed in. That's not what I meant, but I was really intrigued like they could win this and they would really upset everything about the All-Star game if they did. And um the OGs had like a lead for a lot of the time, but it was like neck and neck basically the whole time, although the OGs stayed ahead. And then at the end, they got to like 37. They were 37 points for a long time, and the OGs kept trying to make a three. They're like, we got to end it on a three, end it on a three. They kept like Jason Tatum pass up a wide open layup to pass it to Kyrie or something.
They
He took
started
a
taking
three
some
and missed
silly
it.
shots.
It was just something like there's like really just chucking threes. And then the Rising Stars got closer and closer, 31, 33, 35, 37. It was tied. And then eventually it ended with, I'm pretty sure, a Jason Tatum dunk.
Mm.
Like it was like a pass from Steph Curry to Jason Tatum, and then he dunked it, and that was like the end of it. So because it was like 39, 37, and then they won.
The
So
OGs were like our Olympic team, basically.
literally, it was basically the Olympic team. And then the final, the Global Stars versus the OGs, was so boring.
Yeah.
It was so
No one cared
the
anymore.
Global Stars could like weren't making their shots. And it was so funny, Chuck's face, like after the first time, because it was like 15-4. It was like they were like 0 for 6 from three. It was like super not, it was not looking good.
Yeah.
The OGs looked like they were gonna take it. And then they really just did. Steph started throwing up half court shots and like
Dude.
he made
And he made
one
one.
and like
It was
and he
crazy.
made one. I was like, that's cool. There was some like cool like under the legs like throw up dunk stuff, and then there's a lot of like them trying and like messing up, and then it was just them like walking back and forth like between like the like there's walking back to the side and like throwing up a shot, whatever. It was pretty underwhelming, and of course Steph Curry won the MVP because he made a half court shot, and like he definitely made like
I think he had
him
the
and
most
Jason
points too.
Tatum were like the yeah. Him and Jason Tatum were the ones that like made most of the shots, but. Yeah, it was. I honestly, it was. I just didn't even want to watch like after that, and it was so awkward, like having Kevin Hart there in between, like them trying to MC this event, and like I also didn't love. So they had before the tournament started, they had Draymond Green. I don't know if you saw this join
I didn't
like
know.
some people, not the Team T guys because they were obviously coaching and stuff, but just talking about the format, and a lot of the people were like, oh, "Yeah, I want to give it a chance. It's very interesting. Tournament style. Never done this before." Draymond was like, "I hate it. I think it's stupid. I think this shouldn't be a thing. All these like how Jason Tatum made 55 in one All-Star game. He's not gonna get 40 is your limit. I think it's the stupidest thing the NBA's ever done. He like didn't. He just like literally just
No
kept
holds barred.
talking. Literally, it was insane to watch that. It's like you NBA, you did this. You picked that guy. You know he's
Yeah.
like a loose cannon. He's just gonna be saying dumb stuff, say dumb stuff. So that was just also bizarre. Like on top of them trying new things, you have one guy that has clout to some people, and he's like, "This is stupid. I hate everything about this. This is the stupidest thing the NBA's ever done." I was like, "Okay, well, thanks for giving it a shot." It's like before the games even started, he was
Yeah.
like, "This is stupid." So, so yeah, was it the worst All-Star game of all time? I don't know.
What how about instead of the game, was it like the worst all-star programming? Like the way they put it all together with the breaks and the performances and all that.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched a lot of those all full All-Star games in a long time. And if I do, I do watch just the All-Star game. Like I don't watch all the other events and
But
stuff.
that's the issue with this one. You can't just watch the games because it's like game, break, game, break, game, break. It's not one game.
No, yeah, no, I agree. I don't hate it, but there has to be more to it. Also, we didn't even talk about the fact that some of these guys are first time All Stars. They got maybe 5 minutes on the court,
Right.
and that was it because they
And then they
lost.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like okay, now I'm just like here at the All Star game, and I'm not in the All Star game.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about
That's
the
very true.
jerseys. Also,
Also,
we haven't even talked about the jerseys. Okay,
Wimby.
you talk
I
about
got
your
to
thing
shout out
first.
Wimby. Wimby had a great couple games. He was actually out there trying. So I like that. He was definitely like the best player on the Global Stars because like they draft Jokic and like Jokic is obviously not going to care. That's not his thing. And then he also drafted Giannis who didn't play. So
Yeah,
he just ended up with Wimby being kind of the guy for that team. Playing deep, I know he like blocked Kyrie like kind of crossed him up and went for a layup and he caught up and blocked it off the backboard and I was like, "Yep, that's Wimby." Um, so cool
yeah,
stuff like
and
that was nice to see.
like again, like they wouldn't stop talking about on the broadcast. The most blocks I've seen in an All-Star
Oh
game in
God.
like so long. They just wouldn't stop saying that.
And
Like,
yeah,
oh
that
look,
that
Kyrie's playing defense. Like, look, Kyrie's
that
sitting.
that
He's like in
defense and
this.
effort definitely trailed off in the last game. It was there in the
Dude,
first couple games, but and then
it
it
was
died. Um,
it was not there.
but yeah, let's
Can I
talk
talk?
about light blue, dark blue, and red. Let's let's talk about that
It's
for the
not even the
jersey choices.
colors. It's the fact that you offset All Stars all to the right.
Hmm.
Looks stupid. Okay, and guess what was on the back? Guess where the name was on the back?
Was it below the number?
Under the number.
Oh no, that's a
Are you
no-no.
kidding me? You made progress this year with your city jerseys, finally putting mostly the names above the numbers. And then you in the All-Star game, you off center All-Star, and then you put the name under
It's a cardinal sin. You can't do it.
just for
The NBA
that.
should be
Where's
ashamed.
All-Star game? At least I will say this: last year's All-Star game, the jerseys were fresh. They were the pinstripes. They looked
Yeah,
sick.
they were very cool. LeBron looked at
They
this and
looked
he was like,
very
"I'm not
cool.
putting that on. I'm not
It's
playing.
like what the
I'm not playing.
It's
I
like
can't do
it's
it.
like oh shit, ankle foot
Dang, my
discomfort.
foot hurt.
Oh
I don't know,
shit.
man.
Oh man, I'm so discomforted right now.
Plays like
Oh,
43 minutes tomorrow against the Hornets.
he's and we're gonna need him. It's gonna be like 106, 103. It's like we wouldn't have won that game without LeBron. No,
Yeah,
yeah,
bro.
is there a fix that you can think of? I know we didn't really plan, but like, is there something you can think of right now that's like,
Yeah, I mean, I know you thought this was going to be maybe interesting, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, really, the fix I think is I think the old I liked. I know you weren't a fan of. I liked the draft format. I thought it was kind of fun. I thought it kind of gave people an edge because it's like, oh, that team captain didn't pick me. Oh, maybe like I need to kind of battle against those guys now, which I thought was kind of fun. And you get like interesting pairings that way that will never happen if you have like East and West all the time. But aside from that, I think really the issue is the players caring, right? Um, if they play like it's a normal NBA game, it'll probably be a fun product. Yes, you can have every now and then transition razzle dazzle Kyrie through like a alley oop himself off the backboard. Like that was cool.
yeah.
Stuff like that is fine, but when everyone else is just like standing around watching, it's like, okay. Um,
But
and
how do you
that's
make them
how
care?
do you make
It's
them
like
care? That's the issue, yeah.
yeah, like you're not gonna throw them money because they're guaranteed like 45
I
million,
mean,
if not
hey,
more.
more
Yeah, it's like
millions is more millions. We learn anything from Lynn
yeah, but
Taylor.
also like yeah, I know. I honestly I think it's 3 days of events, number one. I think that's
Mm,
crazy.
yeah, that
I
could
feel
be.
like you can put it all in one day. Also, I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, so it's the All-Star tournament. I was thinking because we've been to Summer League.
Hmm.
So I was thinking, okay, like you watch a game, you go get food, whatever, you go to another game, whatever. So are people just sitting in their seats the whole time? am there in the arena and I see Saweetie come out, I'm like, I'm going somewhere else. Like, I'm not gonna sit around and watch this. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, why? What is making people sit in their seats? Think about this too. We had commercials and breaks for 2.5 hours. That means you were sitting in an arena for 2.5 hours with nothing happening.
They were watching Kevin Hart. What do you mean? Maybe they had like the bull girl who kicks bulls on her head. T-shirt cannon. I don't know.
For 2.5 hours? That's what I'm saying. No. I know you're just trying to I'm like, it was hard for us to watch at home. Can you imagine being in that arena?
No, it sounds bad.
I know, and that's why I know last week I think I mentioned this or the week before. My mom was like, "Are you gonna go to All Star games?" Like, are you kidding? And you know where they announced it next year? You know what's gonna be next year?
LA, right? It's the Clippers.
Los Angeles
Yeah.
Intuit Dome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who's not gonna go?
You?
Well, if it's really cheap,
If
maybe
it's
I'll go.
if it's really cheap,
Really
it
cheap.
won't be. It absolutely will be way more expensive than anything else in Intuit Dome next year.
Uh, I'll find out. I'll find out. I'll find out.
You'll look. You'll take a
Uh,
gander.
I absolutely will, especially since it's LA. I will definitely look into going.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I forgot if I talked about this in the pod. I have been to an All-Star game before. It wasn't the All-Star weekend, excuse me. It wasn't the All-Star game. It was, remember when the NBA did, I believe it was when they would have like first year and second year players versus like international players
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically what Rising Stars is. Um,
Yeah, Rising Stars versus like international
but it was like
stars. It
rookie
was
versus
like
sophomore. It was kind of that format.
it was that vein, but I remember specifically it was international players
Yes.
versus
Yes. I do remember
something.
that.
And the reason why we were able to go is because the Lithuanian consulate in Houston, there were Lithuanian players on that team. I
Mm.
don't remember who it was.
Linus
But
Kleza.
I was gonna say
Linus Kleza.
Linus Kleza, or maybe like that was Don Darius Sangala because he was already too old, but probably Linus Kleza. But I was there in the arena, and that was really cool. And that's also where I talked to Flip Saunders. I told you about that
Hmm.
as a kid, which is really funny to think about. Um, so this would be cool to say like, hey, I've been to an All-Star game as an adult, so I will
Right.
try for sure.
If it's
Um,
cheap, maybe I can fly out there.
that'd be fun. That'd be sick.
Whoa, what you make, eh?
We've done summer league together.
Yeah.
I gotta do All-Star weekend, you know? And
Real NBA
honestly,
fan.
literally though, if it's Houston or LA, those are like the best ones for
Yeah,
us to go to,
for
obviously.
sure.
So, and I know at Intuit Dome, I know where to park for free, so I don't have to worry about parking. So,
That's huge, actually.
you know, you
I
love
don't
that.
know. I don't think they'll ever do it at Toyota Center because Toyota Center fucking sucks. They're never gonna do an
That's where they
all-star.
did it.
Yeah, but like now it's old.
Okay.
Like they
Yeah,
hit
yeah,
they hit
yeah, yeah.
Chase
This
Center because it's
was
new, and they hit Intuit because it's new. Hit all
yeah,
the new places.
this must have been 2005 or 6
Yeah, and
when
it
it was in
looks
Houston.
it
Actually,
looks the damn same as it did in
yeah,
2005 and 6.
it actually does. It's actually crazy how much it looks exactly the same. It's something I have not thought about till this second too. It's like that tall elevator that goes all the way up and everything. Like no other arena is like that. Pretty crazy. Anyways, so that's All-Star game. That's All-Star
That's
weekend.
it. That was it. We did
So
it.
next week, we're just going to talk about, what's next for some teams, I'm assuming, because, this is kind of this is the latter half of the season, kind
Hmm.
of like the last third,
We're ready for the
um,
playoffs.
getting ready for the playoffs, going to see which teams are going to kind of coast, which teams are going to fight for a play-in, which teams are going to fall out. I think it's all going to be very interesting to look at. And we'll update y'all on all that kind of stuff and also all the news that happens in between.
It's 33 degrees right now.
Dude, I'm actually sweating. I'm so hot right now. I need to take off this jersey. I don't know what it is about wearing two layers, but I am actually dying. Um, but that's not what the listener wants to hear. They want to hear if you make your shot. That's
Here
what
we
they want to
go.
hear.
That was probably loud as heck in the
Oh,
mic.
it actually like compressed it. It was not that loud. It was just I wish it was louder, if I'm gonna be honest. He's
Interesting.
taking the shot.
Trying to line up
shot
my angle here. I'm not
of the
confident.
camera. I love how you're looking at your camera.
Yeah. I'm looking at I'm looking at myself in the Zoom
That's
call.
crazy. Yeah. Oh, that's not bad. I heard. That's the first time I think I heard it hit like the door, which is
Yeah, it
pretty cool.
smacked right into that door.
Smack it.
Hooper. Oh God.
Oh, dude, you need to go play basketball more.
Oh, oh God, I can't. No, please. There it is. Yep.
There it is. Swish, dude.
Just need a little warm up. A little warm up, you know.
Dude, I can't. Hey, nice and veins. All right. This has been two-man game with Damon and Dom.
Bucket.